All right, so here we go on into Germany 8's turn. This game's a very unique KJF. I am not going to lie. I do feel like I made a few mistakes. I think Mray made a mistake or two in there as well, and it's leading up to a rather interesting game, to be perfectly honest. So, I mean, here we are. We're in round 8. No money islands really being threatened yet. I mean, I guess technically he's threatening the Philippines, but not really. And no foreseeable future on taking Moscow. So it's almost a stalemate right now, in my opinion. I'm really feeling that loss of Air Force when I wiped his fleet. And I'd do it again. I'm not going to lie. I'd take that shot again in the KJF. The dice hurt a little bit on that one. But the lack of Air Force now, I said in one of the comments earlier, in one of the earlier videos, that fighters aren't as important. Well, I didn't expect to get to this point where I'm having to trade so much. Because normally Germany, we're marching right in there, and 9, 10, G9 is always my starting point. There's many players I face that don't do optimal jobs with allies, and so I end up getting G8 or even possibly G7 at times. And some of the better ones, normally I'm looking at G10. Here, Mray, he's done a great job conserving his Russian units, building up a big defensive stack. He's got his U.S. fighters he's working in to where he's got them playing both the Pacific and being protection for Moscow. And he's got the fighter pump going for UK as well. And so, I mean, he's got a really solid hold here because of this unique approach and him keeping these top 4. That means that's a unit more, an infantry more every turn that Russia's been able to build. Really more than that, because normally Japan's up here trading up here on the front lines, and I can't really push the front lines because of these massive air stacks. So it's a very interesting KJF that he's doing, and I definitely would say pay attention to some of this. This is very interesting. So I'm going to worry about Japan's turn when I get to Japan's turn. I'm not really I haven't really decided what I want to do. If I just want to hang out in 62 and destroyer block him from Philippines and just dump more land into here. The problem with that is, when I looked at it, is if he then went to 50, I'd be up here and he'd be down here. And although I could get down and probably dead zone, it means we're going to start trading the islands. I don't even want to trade the islands as Japan. I'd rather just not let them in the islands at all. So that's the downfall if I hang out there. Other option, I might be able to come to 61 and do a double destroyer block, and then that way I'd still be able to bounce back if he came south. And I'd be able to take land over, and I could build some new fresh land. So that's a possibility. Or just coming toe-to-toe with him in 60 and put a destroyer here and push the fleet back again is another option. And as Japan, because of the strength I'm at this point, I kind of right now I'm probably leaning towards that. Just go nose to nose with him, push his fleet back, make him create space, make him go back to 64, or come down to the Solomons, or something like that. Or the other option is stacking 48 so that I keep Solomons dead zoned, and then just putting the destroyer here. And then he's probably going to come back up to 64 is kind of this loop we've been doing, which I don't think has been a bad thing for me, other than the fact that he's got this little fighter cycle going for, Air Force cycle going for the U.S. now. So anyways, all that said, here we are. Like I said, I went ahead and kind of did some quick just counting and did a quick calculator run on G10 possibility and even G11. So these guys got to go 8, 9, 10. So actually G10, that's what I did. So getting these guys all the way into the attack, building a couple times here, building a time here, and even G10, it doesn't look good because he's got this huge fighter stack, and he's going to be able to add to that because he's got fighters that can fly in range, and I didn't even count these fighters coming in, which he could continue to build as well. So, all that being said and done, this interesting position he has allowed that, again, with this U.S. Air Force up here, creates a bit of a headache. So the other side of this too is ultimately he's got a slight edge on the income. So if I just sit here and we just sit here and U.S. and Japan just sit toe to toe and these guys sit toe to toe, ultimately he's got a slight income advantage. And if eventually that's going to lead to him getting a power advantage, right? Because eventually he's going to be able to buy more. So I need to do something. So that's why we're starting to make this little mini press to Africa. You know, best case scenario, we start getting out here and we break out, and Germany and Japan split up Africa and split the income a little bit more and help both of their battles out. Worst case scenario, he brings a load of UK down here, but that gives me a freedom of a load of Germany, a whole load of Germany infantry moving without trading. So, you know, pros and cons to both, you know, either way. So either way is a little bit of a help to Germany. So I think we're going to continue to press in, especially since, like I said, G10 is not an option. So these guys can go 8 and then 9, 10, 11 if I really feel like I got a shot. But right now we're just going to press on in. I know moving these 4 infantry in here, it gives him a chance. Yeah, I mean, he can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I mean, he can bring all the UK air and his tank. So, I mean, I don't know. We're going to keep pushing Japan right behind him, and then we'll start squeaking out some more Germans if we need to. Japan goes. There's no U.S. air really reaching here. Russian air. Okay, yeah. I did need to check one thing I forgot. So the problem here is I'm building 9 infantry, 4 artillery. Again, I'm continuing to build max attack power. I really want to get my attack power up here for hitting on Moscow. So I'm really still in an offensive mine build, which, again, just the artillery, while I have infantry to match them up to, is the better build. And we're going to continue this 2-to-1 build, which is a pretty good ratio. So 4 artilleries, 2 infantry, 7 infantry. He now has, again, 3 boats, 4 fighters, bomber, and a battleship cruiser that can hit Berlin. So I got to keep Berlin, and I'm only putting 7 units in there at a turn. So this is where we're going to use our flexibility of our tanks. You know, we don't need them up at the front line right now because we're not ready to attack or push forward or anything like that. So, you know, maybe this is something where I should be looking at pushing forward, like trying to hit and then blitz through. But even that, it doesn't really do me a whole lot of good because there's so much air over here. A single tank running around back on this side isn't really going to do me a lot of good, to be frankly honest. So, any case, we're going to push forward. We're going to pull tanks back so that I can continue to push max infantry forward, though, without having to hold extra infantry back. Because if I don't have tanks coming back here to help Berlin, then I would need to keep all my infantry back. And we really need that infantry going forward. I almost want to just do something like this, knowing that even if it fails, Japan could clean up. I need to find some edges here. Not sure I'm wholly comfortable with that yet, though. at least he only has one fighter to. So let's try the good old. No. Do I want to do that? Man, so indecisive these days. Let's see. We're gonna put 3 there, 4 there, 4 there. That gives me 1 tank to spare. Yeah, I'm not really comfortable with that either. Hold on a second. Yeah, man. All this just does not make me comfortable with the different directions I want to go. Too many things, too many battles. I'm using up my artillery more than I want to. But at least it's trading with Russia. But here we go. Wait a second. So we're gonna have, that doesn't look right. What doesn't look right? Why doesn't that look right? Oh, well, 27 and 26 going there. Man, I'm looking back at this. So many different complexities here. I ain't gonna lie. So if we use his infantry, leave that one there. Man. All right, we're just gonna go. I'm thinking too much on this. Actually, you know what? What we can do. There we go. I feel more comfortable. That 1 extra infantry makes a big deal to me. Seems silly, but just, you know, it makes the calculator go from looking really bad, looking decent to not so decent. All right, here we go. Not gonna lie, this is Mray definitely has me me working on this one. There we go. Good. Of course you got 2 hit backs. Come on. There we go. Another hit back. Come on. 3 for 3 on the defensive hits. Can we go 4 for 4? Oh no, yay, they finally missed. Woohoo! So by getting the tanks back, that's going to allow me to push my 6th Infantry forward instead of having to have them sit back to help protect. I'm giving him a 30-some% shot on Berlin, to be honest. But I think I got to take those kind of risks. If we play super conservative in a stalemate type game where he's got a slight income advantage, we're gonna get in a bad situation. So I think we got to stay in this position at the moment. All right. I was going to move all my Germans in here, but I think I was going to move the one in because it's going to be too profitable for him to just wipe with the UK air. But then we'll move the Japan in next turn, and then we'll have 6 units sitting here where the US doesn't have as much firepower to attack with. And let's see, we'll have... What do we want to have there? He's got 4 units. Well, he'll have to decide to fly some fighters down to Egypt, which he probably will now that, as I look at it. But we'll continue this battle and just push, some Japan infantry in through this way, and hopefully eventually we can break through here and create some movements. It's only costing us really this one fighter, or excuse me, one infantry if he attacks. Otherwise, I feel like we'll get a stack in here and we'll be able to at least hold right at the Suez Canal at the very least. All right, there we go. So here's hoping for like a G11, G12 timing. That sounds horrible. Normally, once you start to hit that, once you've missed 10 and 11, then it's just a fighter cycle, and you don't get 12, 13, 14. It's like a never-ending cycle. But again, I also think he's not in any position to really cut off Japan's income too much yet either. So hopefully it pans out. All right, that's how things are looking.